It's time for your healthy dose of information from Hannibal Regional Hospital and Hannibal Regional Medical Group. From the medical group this morning, we are talking with Aaron Zook. Actually, you're with the medical group, that's right, and the combined, it's all under one corporate umbrella there, right?
It is. We're all under the umbrella of Hannibal Regional Healthcare System. The healthcare system has three entities underneath it that are active currently: Hannibal Regional Hospital, Hannibal Regional Hospital Foundation, and the Hannibal Regional Medical Group. So it's great to be a representative of the healthcare system. And people ask sometimes why is there a system? Why are there three different parts? Well, it's all delivering healthcare, but each segment delivers healthcare in a little different way. So that's why it's good to have a parent company and be able to work together with those three separate entities and take care of our patients. So like I said, it's very nice to be able to work closely with those different groups and
Right.
cover the full gamut of care for patients.
That's awesome. And they may ask about that. And then people may also ask, why would I see a podiatrist? And that's what we're here to talk about this morning, the top 10 reasons.
The top 10 reasons. So, the headline being a little catchy, what are the top 10 reasons? And, as you talk to different people, there's all kinds of different reasons, but really the top 10 are your 10 little toes. You think about it, you've only got 10 toes, you've only got 2 feet, we've got to take care of those things. Now, there's a multitude of different conditions that are related to your feet, that are related to your toes, but a lot of times we get up in the morning, our feet hit the floor, we get in the shower, we throw our shoes on, we don't take time to look at our feet, check out what's going on, all those different things. So taking care of your feet is paramount. We look at our hands every day, we see, my fingers are banged up a little bit, I need to take care of them, or I'm having a little bit of pain there, but a lot of times we just ignore the feet and we just move right on, don't even give it a second thought. So important to take care of those feet. And there's so many different ways that your feet are affected by different conditions. A lot of times, we think about ingrown toenails, bunions, stuff like that we don't want to talk about, but if you go and ignore them and don't treat them, they can turn into bigger conditions later on down the road.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned that. I mean, you put the majority of the impact of your moving around throughout the day. Your feet are what take the brunt of it all, and maybe you don't pay that much attention to them, but maybe you don't need to because you really don't have an issue necessarily with them. That's
right. And, that's great. If you don't have an issue with your feet, you don't have pain, it's a good thing and you're very lucky. At the same time, you want to be smart about how you take care of your feet. So right. Like with the winter months coming up, we talk a lot about foot gear choices and different things like that. So, if you're outside in heavy boots and you're going to be out in the elements like today and your feet are going to get wet and your boots are going to get wet, make sure you take time at night to get your boots dried out again before you put them on the next day. Those damp conditions in your boots and in your shoe wear can breed different bacteria and molds and things like that can affect your skin and affect your foot health. Another thing we don't think about a lot of times is sock choices. Especially when it's cold outside, you want a good insulating layer between your boot or your shoes and your skin, and you want to try to avoid synthetic materials. Some of those natural materials will help wick the moisture away, and sometimes with those wool type socks, they get heavy, they get damp during the day, so it's okay to stop and change your socks partway through the day to get some dry cushioning material around your feet.
Yeah, you could be somebody too who maybe does have issues, but you think it's common, you're just kind of used to it, but you need to have things checked out because there are definitely reasons you need to see a podiatrist. First off, what is a podiatrist?
Well, the podiatrist is a specialty within medicine that focuses on the care of the foot, typically starting from the ankle and going forward. There are some conditions that relate to musculature that are farther up the leg, so sometimes their specialty travels up the leg, but typically when we think about podiatrists, they deal mostly with the foot. You think about my foot and it's just there and it is what it is, but you don't realize there's about 26 different bones that go into the structure of your feet. They all have to work together in a relatively small, compact area, and like you said, they take a brunt of what we do every day. You don't think about the arch supports, things like that, but those arches kind of act as shock absorbers. And when we talk about flat feet and arches have fallen, things like that, some people say, well, that's just the way my foot is. And that's true, but you don't realize without that arch support there and without that arch, you're causing damage to the different joints within your foot. So being cognizant of the structure of your foot and how things are working is very important, and that's where the podiatrist comes in to help fix some of those structural things.
Okay, the top 10 reasons that you need to see a podiatrist.
Like I said, there's a lot of them, but the top 10 that are listed, foot-related birth defects. So, you know, when our child is born and they start walking, we may notice they walk around on their tiptoes. We may notice that they're bow-legged a little bit, things like that. It's not a huge defect, but it is something that from the beginning can be addressed. And the sooner it's addressed, the better for the health of your child.
Okay.
Flipping through, leading into that again is some developmental abnormalities. You know, we all tend to walk different ways. I know for me, whenever I look at a pair of shoes that I have worn for a while, I tend to wear the heel off of one side. So I know when I walk, that's something that I have a tendency to do, and there's ways to fix that. And if I wear my shoes too long, my feet start to hurt because I wear that heel off on one side.
Right.
So
it's part of your stride.
It is. So fixing that stride, you know, putting in some orthotics, things like that, that'll help correct that is a good thing.
You know, on that topic, I think it's very helpful for me, and I've shown this to other people throughout the years. You talk about flat foot and high arch and all that stuff, and sometimes people aren't really sure. You know, if you step into a pool of water and step onto concrete, you get the outline of your foot, and you can tell right there whether you're making a full imprint or you've got an area where you can see that you have a high arch. You can get a good estimate just by doing that.
That's absolutely right. And then once you know that, taking the next step and doing something about it is
absolutely
the next thing. But that's a perfect tip that we tell a lot of people. You're absolutely right.
Diabetic feet.
Yeah, diabetic feet. So, you know, there are a lot of folks out there that have to deal with diabetes, and diabetic foot becomes a problem because with diabetes, it affects your circulation, your feeling, and your feet being quite a ways away from your heart, it's hard to get some of that good circulation down there. So keeping those feet healthy is paramount when you're dealing with diabetes.
Okay. What about injuries of the feet and lower legs?
Yeah, it's common for athletes. It's common for some of the weekend warriors and, you know, the general population. Being on your feet all day long, pounding against the concrete, you're bound to get some aches and pains, some strains. You know, walking in the snow, sometimes folks tend to roll their ankle and just ignore it. So any kind of injury that has to do with the lower leg that's nagging, stays there for a couple weeks, you need to get that checked out by the podiatrist.
Okay.
Moving on down the list, toenail fungus. You know, a lot of folks think about the toenail funguses and something they really don't want to talk about. It is important not to ignore it because sometimes and in some instances that fungus can spread to the bone structure and things in your foot. And you ask how that might be done, and that leads us into our next topic on the list is ingrown toenails. With those ingrown toenails, you think about it, the nail is actually digging into your skin, so you couple the ingrown toenail with some fungus, and then you've got an entry point for the rest of your body system for that fungus to enter.
And then a lot of folks deal with bunions too.
They do. Bunions, hammer toe, plantar warts, which are some of the next things on our list. You think about bunions and say, well, it's just something that is there. I'm just going to put a shoe on. I'm not going to wear flip-flops or sandals or whatever. What you don't realize is that bunion's actually changing the structure of your foot, and it's affected sometimes by the shoe gear choices that you choose. And Dr. Klein, our podiatrist, he talks very often about, I don't want to tell people they can't wear the kind of shoes that they don't want to. We don't want everybody to just have to walk around in boxy shoes. We want you to be able to wear nice shoes. There's different things that he can do with inserts and orthotics to help make those shoes fit and conform to your foot and be more comfortable and take some of the pressure off your foot to steer you away from some of those bunion type issues.
And these days there's a lot of really good options.
There are a ton of good options. There really are. And it's important when you go buy a pair of shoes to know what foot type you have, what's your foot size, you know, the width of your foot, all those kind of things are very, very important to helping you make the right decision as far as choosing what foot gear you're going to wear.
And you need to get number 10 reason is feet alignment support. That's why you should see a podiatrist, and that's to make sure that you have the right support.
It is. You're absolutely right. And that foot alignment support, it is a huge preventative thing. The longer you go without the proper support, the worse you can damage the structures of your foot. So having the right insert type for the orthotic, having the right shoe box type for your toes so there's enough space for your toes to move around, and just making sure that, like in my instance, the gait that I have isn't leading to improper wear on my shoes, and then that's leading to other effects up my leg. So I know that if my foot's starting to wear out and my feet are getting a little sore, my knees start getting a little bit sore, and it just translates on up the system. So like with anything, your feet are very, very important, and it's kind of your base for moving around. So you got to take care of them. You got to make sure that things are working well.
Absolutely. If you want to see a podiatrist, if somebody says, hey, I need to do that, how do they go about it?
Dr. Klein is our podiatrist that works in Hannibal. He also travels to Louisiana, Missouri, Canton, Missouri, Shelbina, and Monroe City. So he covers a lot of ground. The best way to get in contact with his office is to call his office, and that number is 573-629-3500. You can also get on our website, HannibalRegionalMedicalGroup.org, and then just click on Dr. Klein's link, and that'll get you to his contact information.
All right. Dr. Klein covers a lot of ground. He's able to do that because he's got the right footwear, too.
He does have the right footwear.
He does.
He'd be glad to tell you about it, too.
He would.
Yes.
I know. I've been there before. It's good. He's got some great advice. Very well done, and he'll help you take care of all those foot issues. And check in with them. Check in with Hannibal Regional Hospital, Hannibal Regional Medical Group, and just find out what you can do to make your walking easier.
That's right. Glad to help.
All right, Aaron Zook, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much, sir. It's hrhonline.org if you want more information online there. And that's your healthy dose of information from Hannibal Regional Medical Group and Hannibal Regional Hospital.